Matthew Ballesta, and I'm a CS1 student from Isabela State University. So today, we're going to talk about if, nested if else, ternary operators, and switch. So first off is if statement. If statement. This is a statement that gives that condition wherein if that condition is met, it executes a certain code. So for example, in here we have a program which will say hello if C is lesser than 1. So in this case, we have C which is equal to 0. Because C is lesser than 1, it means it will say hello. But what will happen if the variable does not meet the condition? So in here we have C is equals to 10. Because C is not less than 1, therefore the action inside the if statement will not be executed. That's the difference of if statement to the next statements we're going to tackle. In if statement, if none of the conditions were met, it will not perform anything because it doesn't have a default action. So next is nested if. Nested if is an if statement that has a more specific statement inside, meaning it's a condition inside a condition. So for example, in here we have a program wherein if x is greater than 0, it will be evaluated with the next condition, which is if the variable x is divided to 2 and the remainder is 0, it will display the text it's an even number. But if not, then it will display the text it's odd. So for instance, we enter the value of variable x as 2, which is greater than 0, therefore passing the first condition. Then, we move on to the condition inside of it. Does variable x divided by 2 have the remainder of 0? Yes. Because it met the conditions on the if statement, it will print out the text it's an even number. But what if variable x is equals to 13? Because x is greater than 0, it will be evaluated. So does 13 divided by 2 have the remainder of 0? No, because it has a remainder of 1. Because of this, the program will display the text it's odd. If-else statement. It gives out a condition and a default action to perform if none of the conditions were met. So for example, in here we have a program wherein if the number we enter is less than 3, it will print out the text, the number is less than 3. But if the number does not meet this condition, it will automatically resort to the default action, which is to display the text, none of the conditions are met. So for example, the variable we enter is 2. Because 2 is a number that is less than 3, then it will display this text. But if entered a different number, which for example is 100, then it will display the text none of the conditions are met, which is the default action to perform. Ternary operators. Ternary operators are shortcut of if-else statement. As we can see in this example, we first write the word string result, then inside the parentheses, we write the condition, which in this case is x is greater than or equal to 1. We then separate the condition with the question mark. After the question mark, we write the action to be done if the variable meets the condition, and then the action to be done if the variable does not meet the condition. In here, we have an example which will display it's bigger than 0 if the number we entered is greater than or equal to 0. Otherwise, it will display the phrase it's equal or smaller than 0. So for example, the number we entered is 1, then it will display the text it is bigger than 0. But if we write negative 100, then it will display the text it's equal or smaller than 0. switch. It's like an else-if statement, except it is written in a different way and is generally faster and more efficient. So for example, in here we have a program which will identify if the number we enter is 1 or not. So in here, we first write switch, then inside the parentheses, we write the name of the variable we would like to evaluate. Then inside a curly bracket, we write the cases. So in here, we first write switch, then inside a parenthesis, we write the name of the variable we would like to evaluate. Then inside a curly bracket, we write the cases. So in here, we have one case and a default. So in case 1, we wrote 1 after the word case because 1 is the number that will meet the condition. It is what we are looking for. Inside case 1, we then write the action to be conducted if the number we enter meets this condition. And then we write break, semicolon to end it. Then we write the default action by writing default. Then inside, we write the action to be executed if case 1 was not met. So for example, we enter 1 on our program because it met the condition. It will display this number is 1. But for example, if the number we enter is 2, then the program will display none of the conditions are met. So, na-realize ko po ngayong midterm na napakahalaga talaga na naintindihan ko yung mga naunang topics. Kasi marami po sa mga topics natin ngayong midterm ay combination ng mga natutunan noon plus mas complicated na mga ideas. So, buti na lang nagkaroon ako ng kaalaman noon para mas madali kong maintindihan yung mga topics natin ngayon. Ma-apply ko po yung mga natutunan ko ngayong midterm sa pamamagitan ng paggamit nito upang ma-solve yung mga problems ko. Halimbawa po wala akong calculator at marami akong kailangan na i-compute. So, pwedeng-pwede po akong gumawa ng calculator gamit ang C++ para ma-solve yung problem ko na yon. So, nagpapasalamat po ako kay Lagad at sa aking mga magulang kasi sila po yung nagpo-provide sa akin ng spiritual na lakas at ng tatag ng loob para ipagpatuloy ang aking pag-aaral at pagbutihin sa aking ginagawa. So, pangalawa po, nagpapasalamat din ako kay Ma'am Kat kasi patuloy pa rin po siya sa paggawa ng mga videos na talaga nakakatulong at nakaka-motivate na matutunan yung mga topics, mas lalo na po ngayong pandemic.